Hello everyone, welcome to race 4 of my F1 races in Gran Turismo 7. If you don't know what these are, back in January I went out, I bought 5 or 10, I can't remember what it was, off these Formula 1 style cars in Gran Turismo 7. Did some research, put some of the most famous liveries of each manufacturer on the cars, did some more research, got 2 drivers from each of those manufacturers, did a spin the wheel, did a custom race, and here we are. We started it in January at Austria, then we went to February, we did it in Canada, March was in Japan, and today for April, we are in Spain. And that's right, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. I quite like this track to watch on Formula 1, mostly because I race it quite a lot on Gran Turismo 7, but for Gran Turismo, I'm actually not very good at it. I'm really not. This takes me a while to get used to. Kind of like Suzuka last month. It takes me a few laps to get used to it, the braking zones, when to turn in. So don't expect it to be clean. Now, I know in the Formula 1 they have that chicane at the end just before they get onto the final corner, just before the pit entrance. I've taken that off. I don't know. I just don't really like it. Even though I'm used to turning in, we've turned it off. So for this race, it's not very Formula 1 style because we won't have that chicane. It'll just be one long turn before we get to the pit entrance. Now, let's jump in. I have done a spin the wheel of every single driver and have now put them into each spot. That's not how you explain it, but that's how I've explained it. So let's jump in and I'm going to show you each position of each driver. I have not explained that very well, but you get the gist. So let's jump in. Alright, a quick reminder, this was not me, okay? This was the wheel. I did a spin the wheel. So if this is a bit unfair, don't blame me. Pole position goes to the icon, Ayrton Senna. Next to him, an even bigger icon in some people's minds, Michael Schumacher. Top 3 finishes off with the Brawn GP of Rubens Barrichello. That's crazy. 4th place, Jim Clark in the Lotus. He always ends up getting top, doesn't he? Quite lucky. Behind him, one of the most successful Formula 1 drivers in the Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton. Behind him in 6th place, current world champion Lando Norris. 7th place is Nelson Piquet in the other Benetton. They got nice. 8th place is Giancarlo Fisichella in the Lotus. That's such a nice livery. Yep, your eyes did not deceive you. The wheel has been nice. The Red Bull, that was Max Verstappen. 10th place here is Mark Webber. 11th in the Brawn, it's Jenson Button. So we've got 12th place, the oldest driver on the grid, who has still passed away sadly, Juan Manuel Fangio. 13th goes to Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin. Next to him, Nico Rosberg in the Mercedes. Next to him, 15th, is Valtteri Bottas in the Williams. 16th is Sebastian Vettel in the other Aston Martin. 17th, Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault. Behind him, in 18th, is Nigel Mansell in the other Williams. And then in 19th, we have the other Ferrari of Niki Lauda. And then, of course, as per usual, 20th place is myself. I've picked the Lotus for today. So that's it for the grid. It's going to be a 40-minute race. Time is the same, so it'll be nice and sunny, a bit cloudy, a bit past, but it's mostly sunny and will be during the day. Times 12 on the tyres, times 6 on the fuel, so there won't actually be that many pit stops for today. But as I said at the start, I'm not amazing at this racetrack. Will I win? Who knows? Let's jump in to April's Formula 1 race in Gran Turismo. I don't think I've ever fucked up an end to a race like I just did there. I mean, I've messed up with the fuel loads of times. You know, looking at it, oh, we have about a minute left. I've got just enough fuel. We should be able to do it. Might have to scrape across the finish line, but we should be fine. Just to come around the final corner and have 30 seconds left and think, fuck, okay, maybe not. We're going to have to pit. Like that one there. I think we had about 30 seconds left at the time, but I had 0.7 off laps, 0.7 off fuel left. So I had to pit. So we lost a few places. But then I thought, it's fine. The final lap, the AI are always really slow. Doesn't matter if we've got BOP on, it doesn't matter. They're just slow. So we should be fine. We should be able to catch up to them. Sorry about that. There was an ambulance that just went past, so I put the mic a bit more close to my mouth. But anyway, I pushed to the final lap thinking, maybe I could catch up. I might be able to catch up to Senna. Just to rode the fucking corner too quickly and spin out. And we finished 11th. Now, I had a little look just before I recorded this outro, and this is actually joint worst place I have finished in these custom races. This is joint worst with the F1 GTR around Interlagos. Remember that race? When we used the car, we put BOP on for the first time, and we got destroyed by cars that were clearly faster than us. This is joint 11th. It's the worst I've ever been. But yeah, so that's enough moaning. Let's actually have a look. So, gonna go through them, see where they've got the starting grid here. We'll have a look, see who did what. So congratulations to Michael Schumacher. He's won the April race of the month. He started second, so not really anything special there. Jim Clark was second. He was actually doing quite well for this race. He started fourth. Hamilton was third. Respect to Hamilton. He did start fifth, but you know, the highest of the current races. Senna fourth, PK fifth, Barrichello sixth, Norris seventh, Webber eighth. Looks weird having those Red Bulls higher up. Max Verstappen was ninth, Rosberg was 10th. What was he in this? Let's have a look. He was 14th, so you know, plus 4, so well done him. Obviously, I finished 11th. 12th was Button. Where was he? Button was 11th, so yeah. Ricciardo was 14th, Fangio 15th, Sebastian Vettel was 16th. Where was he? He was 16th as well, so again, Mansell was 17th, Bottas 18th. Where was Bottas? Oh, he was 16th, okay. Fisichella was 19th, he started 9th. He started 9th and he finished 19th, so yeah, he had a pretty shit race. And Lauda finished 20th. Sorry, Lauda. I do have to say I do have to apologise. Not my intentions to make a crash out on the first lap, but he just did not recover, did he? He was miles off. But yeah, sorry, Niki Lauda. Maybe I'll put you in pole position for the next race. If I remember, I probably won't. You never know, the wheel might do it. But anyway, that's it for April's race around Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. No chicane, because fuck that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave a like and subscribe, and put in the comments which track should I do next. We've done Red Bull Ring, we've done Canada, where Canada's rank is, and Japan, and now we're just on Spain. So put in the comments which track should I do next. But that's it for April. I guess I shall see you in May. See you later.